All right, we're going to talk about requirement documentation. And I want to welcome you to the session. Yeah. So, what do we really mean about requirement documentation in business analysis? Okay, let's look at it this way. You just finished requirement gathering. You had a meeting with the stakeholders to gather requirements. Yes, and you take notes. But that's not enough. Just writing, taking notes is not, it's not enough for you to say you've documented their requirements. So you just gathered raw data, raw data. Yeah, it's not even processed. So you have to process the data you collected, transform it into information. Information is the stage, is at consumption level. It can be used for various purposes. It becomes information. But if you do not document it properly, if it's not serving the purpose of the reason you gather that data or requirement, you cannot call it information. It's not good for decision. We can't use it for decision making. So you have to document whatever you gathered very well so you can use it for decision making. That is the purpose. People can work on it. You can share it with other people. That's the purpose of documentation. So there are so many ways through which you can carry out a documentation. And that's what we're going to look at. All the ways you can document data you gathered and it become professionally consumable by other stakeholders. Everybody is waiting for you to document this information, transform it into we call it executive or business information, business requirements. Yeah. Because if you do not document it during the meeting, for instance, during the meeting you are recording, you say, during the meeting, you find out there's a lot of irrelevant information, like irrelevant data gathered during the meeting, jokes, a lot of, so you can't just record everything or put everything that was said during the requirement gathering. So how you document this, the requirements will determine how successful you are going to be. Yeah, that will determine how success. If you start struggling with the documentation, that is where the problem starts. That's where you can derail from the original scope, the main scope. You start derailing. Yeah. So requirement documentation and modeling are critical tasks in business analysis. After requirement gathering, the next thing is requirement documentation. These artifacts capture the need and expectation of stakeholders and provide clear foundation for project development. So, if you do not document it very well, then it means your foundation, the foundation of the whole project will start becoming shaky. So this is where the clear foundation starts, good documentation. And during documentation, we have to do some modeling within the documentation, meaning that some of the information you gathered has to be put in a diagram. People can see the diagram and understand what you want, or what you are saying, or what the situation is, or what the stakeholders want. In business analysis, we have a specific language called unified modeling language. Every business analyst must be able to speak this language, modeling language. What is the modeling language means? Translating business requirements into a diagram. A good business analyst at work, you should be able to create up to at least 3 process flow in a day. Process map. All these diagrams, that's the way we communicate. We don't talk by writing thesis, a big 200 pages, 500 pages. No, that is not part of our way of communication. But we can create a very big diagram. So this is something you have to learn. I'm going to teach you people how to create diagram, and then you start developing more on, because if you really want to be a business analyst, you must know how to create diagrams. Is sure that is extremely important. That is what we mean by modeling. When you hear model in business analysis, modeling is not like a beauty pageant. That's not the modeling. Modeling is diagrams, creating diagrams. Yeah. So we have these key components of requirement documentation. If you want to carry out a good documentation, the first thing is what we call requirement specification. That is business requirements. Remember, we'll talk about functional requirements and non-functional requirements. We'll talk about that early when we're trying to understand what requirement is. So the requirements you gathered must be able to be assembled in a functional requirement document and non-functional requirement document. So functional requirements, what the system must do. For instance, this system, what is it going to do? What is the functional requirement? Non-functional requirement, system's performance. Let's look at this. You see this? This is a system. What can this system do? That is function. Function. How does it function? Okay. If I click on this particular image or this particular card and it's taking me time to load, that is still not the requirement, but it's not non-functional requirement. Is the speed with which it loads. If it loads faster, then if it takes time to load, then you see that yes, it's pop. So you see, so it loaded fast. So that is what we mean by requirement, functional and non-functional requirements. Yeah. Okay. Business rules. We call business rules constraints or policies that the system must adhere to. Like, what is the standard acceptance criteria? These are business rules. Every requirement must have acceptance criteria. It must have standard. That is what it means. Okay. The second one is what we call process flow documentation. Yeah. I've spoken about process flow diagram, flow charts. Every situation must be able to be put in a flow chart. Every process in the organization must be able to put in a process flow chart. So let's use bank. For instance, can anybody tell me two processes in the bank? Two processes, just two processes in the bank, a whole of a bank, two processes. Any of us can try?
Mr. Charles.
Yes.
Good evening, sir. I would say it's, yeah, it's Obasan. I would say it's credit and debit.
Credit and debit.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell us how this process works.
For someone to have a debit, you need to credit your account, which is a process of paying money, and then debit, a process of taking out money when you have a need for the money.
Credit and debit is not a process. Let's say deposit, call it deposit and withdrawal. Yeah? What's the process of depositing fund in a bank? Called deposit. Can anybody tell me the process of depositing money in a bank? If you have your money now,
okay,
and you enter bank hall, you want to deposit your money.
and you go to the bank, take your cash, and go and meet the teller. Fill your form. After filling the form, you write how much you want to deposit. You give the teller. The teller counts the money, then stamps. Give you back your pink slip and tell you to go.
Okay.
I don't know what to do after that.
Okay, you've done what I want us. That's what you just explained in business analysis is what we call process flow. Process of, you see the way it's flowing. The first thing you have to do, you write it. The second thing, you write it. The third one, you write it. The fourth one, you keep on writing them. You can have up to 10 processes, 10 small processes before you finally deposit your money and then leave the bank hall. So that is process flow. And we know that process can take a time. At times, to carry out this process, if you go to banking hall, you know it can take up to at times 1 hour for you to wait before you can deposit your money. True or false?
True.
Yeah. But we don't like it. Do we like it?
No.
So that is where the problem comes. So it can become a problem. It can become a bottleneck in the bank. Customers do not like it. If I go to a bank and I experience that, I'm not going to go to that bank again. I'll look for another bank. I want a situation I'll come and deposit my money and go. I don't even want to come to a bank and be in a queue for a long time. I don't want that. Banks can lose their customers because of that. And now it can become a problem to the bank. And now they can look for you to solve this problem as a business analyst. It takes, just like it takes so many times before someone can be served food. That is an example we use. You see the same process. It takes a long time before you can deposit your money. At times, if you want to withdraw your money, it becomes the same. So withdrawal is equally the same thing. At times you feel before you can withdraw your money. And bank trying to solve this problem, that is when we started having ATM, automated teller machine, so that you don't have to be on that kind of queue for a long time. You just go to ATM, withdraw your money, and go. Even this deposit, it becomes, and that's why we started using mobile application, because banks, they don't want to. So you can just deposit your money from this. You want to pin from here to here, maybe you want to pin to somebody, use your mobile DC. You don't need to queue, you don't need to waste time. You just, from your app, you transfer. All these apps is solutions. All these ATM machine, they are all solutions bank has been looking for to reduce the bottleneck in depositing money and withdrawing money. So that is what we call process. So you see the way I'm speaking, trying to make you understand it, trying to use different type of language or vocabulary for you to understand it. We don't have this kind of time, we behave. Instead of this kind of heavy languages trying to fashion my mouth, my intonation, maybe because here we might have some people from China, some people from India, some people from England, America, different people, and some people might be able to struggle with my intonation, my accent, and this and that, me trying to change my mouth, all these things. All I need to do is just, I put it on a process flow. Anybody who looks at it automatically grabs it from the process flow. At a glance, you've seen what I'm trying to communicate. That is what the decision makers want. It helps them for fast decision making. That is why we have process flows. There are key solid positions in business analysis. We call it process analysis. Every bank in UK, every organization in UK, insurance companies, big organization, these are part of business analysis. They will want you to have experience. And some they would ask you, they are looking for process analysts, because where situations, where problem arises is through the process we do things. Processes. If we improve our processes of doing things, then it's going to reduce all these inefficiencies. It's going to reduce corruptions. It's going to reduce a lot of waste of money, waste of resources. Just like the banking this thing, if I can go to bank within 5 minutes, I've deposited my money, I'll withdraw my money. I don't have to spend 1 hour. Time is money. I can put that time into another thing that is very useful to me. And yeah, something like that. So that's where it comes down to process flow documentation. If you don't know how to do process flow documentation, you are going to struggle as a BA. So the first process flow we want to understand is ASIS process flow. ASIS means the current process. The current process, if you want to analyze a situation in the bank, why there is so much complaint in the bank about deposition of money deposit and withdrawal. The first thing we need to understand is people are complaining. How does it work at the moment? Let us even understand how it's working at the moment. Then we are going to take time to ask questions, requirement gathering, to understand the process, initial process, that is assist. After then, we document it. What we've done will help us to understand the problems within the process. So, but when we start talking about using English text, it might take, but once we put it in a flow chart or a process map, you see that it's going to be easy to spot where we have issues in the process, where we have inefficiencies, where we need to improve, gaps within the process. So that's why we need to use process flow. You must understand how to do that. Document process flow. When you get a process flow, as this process flow, then the next thing is then how to put or how to document to be process flow. So documentation, you must understand how to do all these things, which I'm going to show us very soon in this lesson. So, assist and to be sorted. Assist process flow is the current process flow. To be process flow is the desired process flow. These are two things you must grab as a business analyst. Even if you do not get anything in this lesson, you must understand how to solve a problem from the original state to the desired state. That is using gap analysis between the as-is and to be, and create a solution to bridge the gap. Then you must be able to know how to document stakeholder requirement metrics. So you must understand all the stakeholders and their expectations. So by now, before you start this, you get to the level of even documentation, you must have known who are your stakeholders through stakeholder analysis we discussed earlier. You identify your stakeholders. Now, during the requirement gathering, you start hearing different needs of different stakeholders. Then that different need is becoming stakeholder expectation, or stakeholders need, different need. You cannot say, yes, every stakeholder need this. Some of them might differ. So you must state which every stakeholder is trying to achieve from a particular project. That is when you start adding stakeholders' expectation, attaching it to every stakeholder, and their specific requirement must be specific, which we are going to see very soon as well, how to do this documentation. Data requirements, data input and output, and data process need. All these requirements require some data. What kind of data do we need at every point? So when we talk about data, we talk about something like email, telephone number, date of birth, credit card, marital status. So we'll talk about, we can call this a customer data. So every kind of requirement or every kind of situation need the kind of data we might want to collect. So you need to equally understand the data needed. If you are trying to understand the data for a bank customer, of course, it's going to be different when you want to get a data for a university customer, which is a student. You know, Because university, when you must talk about the person's course of study, duration of study, departments, this. But in the bank, you cannot capture cost of, because you can't come and start asking somebody who is a bank customer cost of study. What are you using the person's cost of study? It doesn't make any sense. If you go to university students, when you want to enroll a student, you might not come to start asking the students their credit card, their bank number, their PIN number, all this and that. They don't need it. If you go to the hospital, the kind of data you need for a patient recording system or patient management system is different from the one you are going to need from the university. So you must specify data input, the kind of data and data processing need. What do we need this data for? You must specify them. Then we'll have user stories. In Agile, we'll call it user stories. In Waterfall, we'll call it technical requirements. So when you get all these requirements, functional requirements and non-functional requirements, over time, you need to convert these functional requirements. These functional requirements are what we call business requirements, what the business need. We call it business. You see here where I asterisk it under bracket here, is called it business requirement. Now, this business requirement, as the work is progressing, you need to convert business requirements into technical requirement. Why are you converting into technical requirement? So that at this point, it's obvious that you are trying to build a solution. This solution you are trying to build, the developers do not understand business requirements. What the developers understand is technical requirement. For you to collect requirement from the business executives, taking it to the developers to create a solution, you need to convert it from business need to technical need. Business requirement, technical requirement. So you need to equally know how to capture or document technical requirements. Description of feature from the end user's perspective, often in form of user story. As a user, I want to perform an action so that I can achieve a goal. So you need to, this is the language developers understand very well. Yeah. And then we have what we call use case scenarios. Use case scenarios, you have to describe a scenario where these features can be used and the way it's going to be used. Use cases, different use cases. For instance, you've developed a mobile app for a bank. This will help in all this queue in the bank, both in money deposit, receiving money into your account and sending money out of your account. You don't need so much. So mobile application can be a solution to do that. So when you develop mobile application, even before you develop it, you must be able to state all the use cases. How are you going to use this mobile application when you finish developing it? You should be able to describe the use cases even before you package it, it becomes application. It's still part of the requirement. You tell us cases. This is the time you are now proving to the stakeholders that this particular solution have the capacity of different use cases. You can use it in different purposes. Different purposes is now you are telling them what this solution is bringing to table. Mobile application. Can somebody tell me what you can use mobile application to do? Various cases you can use mobile application, bank app, various cases, any cases you can think of. All of us here are using mobile bank app. What are use cases?
To transfer money.
Yeah, money transfer. So it has transfer. Yes.
It has savings where you earn interest.
Yeah, you can use it to see your savings.
You can download your transaction history.
Bank statement. You can use it to download your bank statement. You see, these are things you would have gone to bank to spend time to do. Before now, you can go to bank and stay for 2 hours writing letter, waiting for authentication, waiting for approval. Why? Just to print out your bank statement. In those days, I've gone to a bank. I wanted to print out a bank statement. So my uncle sent me to the bank. We have to write, sign. They have to equally, after everything, call the bank. The man, you see the process before they can just print that bank statement and give to me. It was a very long process. That's when I wanted to travel abroad. It was a very long process before they can just print it and give to me. But if these days, the man don't need to send me to any bank, all you just need is download it and send the PDF to my WhatsApp, and I will get it immediately. And even if I want to apply for my this embassy, they don't need it. All I need to do is attach the PDF copy of the statement to the application I'm making for the embassy, and that's it. And this is within 5 minutes, all these things done. But before, you can take like 1 week, you are going to and fro to get a bank statement. So these are use cases. If you start talking about what we can use bank app to do, there are so many use cases of, or these are gains of opportunities. And that's what we mean use cases. So we should be able to be describe various use cases. When we want to describe use cases, there's what we call use case diagram. So it's not only process flow diagram. We have what we call use case diagram. There are so many diagrams. We equally have prototypes. These are diagrams. We equally have wireframing. There are so many diagrams. Everything is about diagram in business analysis. So, and equally risk and assumption. Risk associated with meeting the requirement and key assumptions made during. So every requirement for us to be able to achieve it is like we moving from point A to B. We need to take some steps in order to achieve it. So there are risks involved. So part of the whole documentation we will always try to capture various risks and assumptions. So these are key components. Key. It can be so many, but these are the ones that you must comply with. These are the very important aspect of requirement. The minimum standard, any requirements you want to document as a professional business analyst who want to work in Canary Wharf or who want to work in New York. Yes. Okay. Key modeling document. Unified modeling language. I've spoken about unified modeling language. We have, these are your own process map. This one is your own. You must, is very, very dear to you. No matter where you go, this process map, you must take it everywhere you must, because there are processes everywhere. What government, what organization, what schools, everybody, parents, is how do we improve? Your son is an average student. How do you improve your child to be from average to above average? Every place you go around the world, whatever they are talking is improvement. So when we are talking about improvement, improvement is on processes. How do we stop our students from coming to school late? How do we improve the success rate of our students after graduation? It's still a process. It's about how to improve from one place to another. That is processes. So it's extremely, so that's what we call process map. Visual representation of workflow, including Aziz and Toby. Then we'll have data flow diagram. Illustrate how data moves from the system. You know, depending on the kind of system you are building or designing. For instance, a bank app. If you want to send information, where does it start? Where does it follow? And where does it go to? In a CRM system, or let us even use our cost portal data. So if you sign into our cost data, where and where and where, how do you follow? How does it flow? The cost data, the cost portal, you need email and password. This is how this data is going to flow. This will be able to, if you input it, it should be able to open a window for you. So you see the flow. Every data has a flow diagram, how it's flowing from one system to another, to another, to another. Yeah. For instance, now you can see a data can flow from a CRM system to HR. That is data flow. From CRM system to ERP system, data flowing like that. At times, you can see a data will cross up to in an organization where we have different systems integrated. If you want to carry out integration, how data, we call it data communication management, how data move from one system to another system to another system. So these are when you are getting into advanced business analysis, where you are going to be building a lot of integration. When you are integrating different systems, like here in UK, you see immigration, UK immigration or home office portal is integrated with HM revenue and custom. You can see is integrated with company house. You see is integrated with NHS. You see is integrated with driver's license office. So in a situation like that, data can flow, is integrated with police. You might never give police You might never go anywhere to register with police. But police, if you come to here and you go, what a police catch you, the police will ask you, what's your name and your date of birth? Once you put your name and date of birth, it's going to go to the immigration and pull your data out from immigration because it's integrated. So you see data movement, how data can move around. So if you are a business analyst trying to design a system like that, you must be able to illustrate the data flow with a diagram, how it's moving, how data can move around seamlessly. Data communication management. We have entity relationship diagram, defining relationship between different data entities. So different data might have relationship. How does it related? Like HR data is related with customer or employee data or different. What are they have in common? Different, let's say sales data and employee data can have relationship. Sales data and customer data can have relationship. If you are looking at data, for instance, if you are, we call this kind of people business data analysts. If you are a business data analyst, you deal on data so much, you must be able to show relationships between different data sets. And there's always relationship. Like I use sales data. Sales data have relationship with customer data because the customer is the person who is buying. When a customer buys, a sales transaction is created. Customer data has its own segment or its own unit in database. So there is always relationship linking them together. That data, customer sales data will equally have relationship with financial data. Sales data can equally have relationship with HR data because HR, we might see who are the employees who are selling this product, who are in charge of these products. You are the one. So in charge of, you can be in charge of electronics department in Amazon or eBay. The other one can be in charge of fashion. The other person, if you come to all those, you see people owning department. It's not one person that owns the department. You see what is the relationship because he's the head of this unit. He's in charge of these sales. So you must be able to show, this is what we call entity relationship, how they relate with each other. Then we'll have wireframes and mockups. Wireframe is you describing or drawing how a system will look like in a very skeletal way. It's just like if you want to create a mobile app, you can use pen and paper to draw how it's going to look like. And just a UI version of it. That's a user interface. You can draw it. It's a skeletal version of it. You can equally call it mock-up or prototype. It's a visual representation showing how it's going to look before you start building it. So why we create it is that the stakeholders should be able to have a feel of what the product is going to look like even before we start creating it. When we create this wireframe or prototype, at times they might say, we don't like it, or we don't like this color, or we don't like it, can you make it this way? So they were able to see how it looks like. But this is only most of the time when you are creating a new product. It's not everything you do, you start creating wireframe or mock-up. Most of the time, new products. But when you have an existing product that you are maybe trying to build one integration or the other integration, you might not need to create a wireframe because the product is already existing. Then we'll have what we call swim lane diagram. Swim lane diagram depict processes divided into lanes for each own or different roles. Yeah. When you start creating process flows, process flow in a process, you find out that more than one department can be involved in one process. And for you to be able to communicate how information or how a process connects through different departments or through different professionals, you need what we call swim lane. So each department can be called a lane. Each unit can be called a lane. For instance, we want to create a process of how to maintain a council flat or an estate flat. If there is incidents, there is a boiler leakage in a council flat, and you want to make an incident out of it, create an incident, we might want to understand the flow in order to understand how to improve. I've seen a situation where people in a council flat or estate, they are complaining that we don't have light here for 1 week now, and we are still paying the bills, and it's not fair. So those people can take the estate agent to court, and they can get some claims back. And most estate agents, they don't want that kind of thing. So they want to solve these kind of problems. They want to understand how things have been going on. For instance, say, okay, create this process in a swim lane. A swim lane can be first. The first person is the person making the complaint, which is the estate, the tenant. Then when a tenant makes complaint, where does the tenant call? The tenant calls the desk office of the estate company. The desk office will collect the request, then the desk office will contact the landlord. You see how many people involved now? The tenant, the desk office, the landlord, and then landlord will give approval so that the leakage will be fixed. Now, from landlord back to the desk office will now contact the company plumber. Then we are now moving to the technical unit. The company plumber will then move to the storeman to pick equipment in order to go and fix that leakage. You see, another person connected now is the storeman. Then the storeman will release the equipment. Then the plumber will take the equipment. Then go to the estate, contact the tenant, fix it, then get back to the desk office to report that it has been fixed. This process is a long process and is not involving one person. If they are still complaining that the process is too long, then we might want to put it in a process flow, in a swim lane diagram. Putting it that we can see different routes, who is connected, you know, and we might say, all these processes is too bureaucratic. There's so much bottleneck. Then once we have it that way, we can start looking at how do we shorten the time. We can say, okay, why are we even contacting the landlord? The time the landlord gave us his estate to manage, the landlord has given us authority to fix whatever is going wrong. We're trying to contact the landlord, taking us 2 days for the landlord to pick and call because an elderly man, it might not even. So, 2 days to get hold of the landlord for approval to fix is not necessary. That is bureaucratic. So, we might decide that the future process to reduce the time when such incidents happen is to remove the landlord from the picture. With the estate agent, we can start for the landlord. If anything goes wrong, we fix it. You know, landlords are giving us the permission. So this is where we have swim lane in process flow, swim lane. And use case diagram. I've talked about use cases. Whenever we have use cases are opportunities, what we can achieve from a particular system. What can this system do? Various things we can achieve, like we can use bank app to send money, we can use it to download bank record or bank statement and so many other things. These are so many use cases. All these use cases we're talking about, we have to put it in a diagram. So these are various ways we can model, we call it modeling. You can see there's so many modeling activities which you need to understand how to model. Okay, steps to create a requirement document and modeling. First is conduct requirement gathering meeting, which we've already discussed requirement gathering even as a topic. Meet stakeholders, identify their needs and challenges. We've already covered that. Organize information. Once you get this information, this is the first step of you trying to create documentation. Categorize requirements as functional. Then some requirements is going to be as non-functional or data related. You must classify all the requirements in different. You cannot put both non-functional, functional in one place. You must classify them. Develop, assist, and to be model, which we've been talking about. Analyze current workflow and design future workflow. That is it. We are now trying to create the current flow, which will help you to understand the future workflow. Validate requirement with stakeholders. Once you put it, the document in a very professional manner, you do not move to requirement analysis, because we'll have 3 sections here. We have requirement gathering, we have requirement documentation and modeling. We can call it 4. Requirement gathering, requirement documentation, requirement modeling, and requirement analysis before you start talking about getting the solution. Before all this, you need to, when you put your requirement together as a document, send it back to stakeholders you had a meeting with during the requirement gathering session for them to approve. Approve means that you did not make mistake in your documentation, because yeah, it happens all the time. You might, when you are collecting the requirement, when you are documenting something, you can, some people assume you might have heard something different and put something else. You might have put blue. They say they want the bank app to be blue, and you go and mistakenly put green. When it goes for validation, they say, no, we did not say blue. This is, or we did not say green, we said blue. So you must always send back your document for validation. So draft supporting model. Use diagram like process map and data flow diagram for clarity. So whenever you finish your documentation, it's important, although not all, some documentation might, but most documentation might need these modeling languages, diagrams to support your work. Iterate and finalize. Review documents for completeness and make updates based on feedback from stakeholders. This is what you've done, and once you carry out this, then you must have documented and modeled the requirement very well, which will then be the next step for you to go and start your requirement analysis. Okay, case study, requirement document for PayEagle CRM implementation project. So let's look at this requirement documentation. After the requirement gathering, they decided to put the CRM implementation project. They need all the requirements they gathered, they put it in a document like this. So the document here is, the first thing you see here, you see document control. So every document you have to learn to version your document. The first one, after the first documentation, you send it to the stakeholders for review, and they said, no, go and improve on it, add this on this to make it complete. Yeah, the first one you have submitted, do not delete it. It's a document. It took some time for you to do that work. So, and while doing that work, you got paid, although it wasn't approved, but you got paid to do that work. So that is the first document, and it's going to be 1.0 or 1.1 of that document. Then you go, and after the review, or after the improvement based on the feedback, you came up with a better document and they approved it. The approved one is now going to be version 1.2. And after the work is going on, they might say we need another thing to be added on that requirement. And after due process, the requirement is added. Then that becomes 1.3. That is version 1.3. So that is how you, an IT professional, that is how you, all your documents should be. I don't know if you've heard of what we call change log in IT. Change log, every little change, you must log it. That is version control. So you must always try to create a document control. It's important. So then you create executive summary. Executive summary, let's look at this particular one. Very brief. There is no, like I told us, we don't believe in so much grammar. Yeah, we use brief documentation. We use bullet points. We use diagrams. That's the way we communicate. So PayGo is a multi-agent remittance marketplace based in London that aims to improve its lead management process through the implementation of CRM system, customer relationship management system. This document outlines the functional and non-functional requirements, assist and to-be processes, and a comprehensive solution approach for the CRM implementation. We do not go start blowing big, gigantic grammar here. As a matter of fact, we are business analysts. We are not lawyers. We are not teachers. We are not English teachers or linguists, or we are not, what are these people who talk to about journalists? We are not them. We go straight to the point. We don't paint, so that is the way it should be. Everybody should be able to understand this. For now is a business document. This document, every business owner or every business member or business executive should be able to understand the document. You know why? So many business leaders are not educated. True or false? True or false? Are we sleeping?
No.
So, are we agree that most business leaders are not educated? Yeah.
I don't know.
So many of them are not educated. Some of them just started reading, but when they become rich, started running businesses. If you go to all the China, so many of them cannot speak English. If you go to them, they don't understand. But you can work for a Chinese firm, a company, or somebody. You know, some of these rich men, somebody like Dangote, them when they started, it's over time. They started going to school. You know, the big men I know in Enus, they do not go to school. They started, you know. So these people that owns this business, they don't want long grammar. They want something they will understand. That is the way we work. We want people to understand. At this point, business leaders, yes. Okay. Looking at executive summary, then let's look at the objectives. Objectives here is simple. Automate lead capture, assignment and tracking. Provide real-time dashboard for performance analysis. Enhance lead conversion rates and customer satisfaction. Reduce manual workload and error in lead management. The objective here is very clear, even though it wasn't applied, SMART wasn't heavily applied here, but it's very clear. Then project scope. In scope and out of scope. Implementation of CRM system for lead management. Automation of lead capture, assignment and follow-up reminder. Integration with existing communication channel, email, phone web forms, training for stakeholders on CRM usage, out of scope, non-lead management functionalities of CRM, integration of external financial accounting system. So it means that what they want to achieve here is only to improve their lead management. They are focusing in this part of this project, what they are targeting is lead management. The second phase of the project might be integration with existing financial and accounting system like CRM. So they said here, don't go here. It has to be clear. Then you document stakeholders. The stakeholder here is, you see, sales team, role and interest, end user of CRM. You remember when we are treating stakeholder analysis, we talk about interest. So now, expectation. What is this stakeholder expecting from this system? Easier lead assignment and tracking. Then we have sales manager. You see, we separated all their interests. The sales manager's interest is oversee team performance. And the expectation is real-time reporting and improvement efficiency. So you know what every stakeholder is looking for in this particular project. Customer of this company, their own is inquiry for services. They want better inquiry channels or communication method. The expectation is timely response and better services. And then you have IT team. The interest is CRM implementation and support. And the expectation is seamless integration with existing system. And then we have senior management. Their own interest here is better decision making. Yeah, they are decision makers for the project. Better insight into sales performance. You see, everybody here have got their interests. All the stakeholders here, you identify their interests and you've identified their expectation. So, mind you, the main thing we're talking about, identifying stakeholders and their expectation. That has been the language from day one. And you need to make sure that their expectation is captured. You find out so many projects, somebody is a stakeholder. That's why I started having problem with some stakeholders. The person is a clear stakeholder. It's stated is a stakeholder. But when every document you created, there is nothing showing that the person is a stakeholder. There is never any document where the stakeholder's interest or the stakeholder's expectation is captured, that like you are trying to solve the problem of the stakeholder, or like you are trying to carry the stakeholder along. And the stakeholder will be frowning. Am I just a stakeholder here? And I have not seen my name in any document. I have not seen anything. You appointed me a commissioner in a government. And everybody will be coming to government house with their own file, whatever. I'm now a commissioner without portfolio. How am I going to be happy? Am I going to be happy? I'm not. So with this, you've created portfolios for every stakeholder in this particular project. And once they are seeing their name appearing, it means you are very, very interested. You are very, very much aware of their need, and you are carrying it on your head in this project. That's what they want to see. If they don't see it, That's when you will see that some stakeholders going to be difficult with you. And you start calling them difficult stakeholders because you didn't document their interests and their expectation very well. So in our own case here, yeah. So this particular document you see here is a template for you to do your work. So don't come tomorrow and start asking. Every of my notes is a template. That's the way I work. That's the way I teach. The template you can use to create your own work anywhere you go. It should be able to help you to start doing your work at the office. So it's not just for you to learn and gain knowledge. You have to, something you can take along with you until you get something better than this. What I'm saying is, don't say I didn't, you are looking for a template. This is a template. Then requirement, that is business requirement. You see the way the business requirement is documented. The first business requirement here is functional requirement. We'll talk about functional requirement. So you document it with unique identifier. It must have its own unique number. So you look at this, you see FR001, automate lead capture from email, phone, and the web. The priority is high. You see another FR, this is the first requirement, first functional requirement, second functional requirement, and you see the way you capture all of them in a very simple and itemized form with priority. Assign lead management. 3, allow agents to update lead status in real time, generate real-time dashboard for lead, and the 5th one here is set automatic follow-up. You see the way everything with their rating. So it means all this there is how important is it to the stakeholders. Then you come here to non-functional requirement. You see that is 2 tables here containing 2. So I did not mix them up, making things easier for me to understand. And anybody who lays hands on this particular document, even if I'm no longer in this company and I created this document, if somebody joined this company even 10 years after I've left this company and see my documentation, the person will understand the history and what I've done here. Everybody should be able to understand the work you've done when you've left the company. So you see, non-functional is clearly stated, NF001, that is a unique identifier. The CRM system must be accessible 24/7, 24 hours and 7 days in a week. And the system must handle up to 10,000 lead monthly. And the CRM system must comply with the GDPR data protection standard. And then the final one is the CRM system should respond, response time must not exceed 2 seconds. So you see it here is documented very well. I've captured the 2 business requirements, functional and non-functional requirements. Then I move down to assist process flow. The process flow, I have to put it in a table before I start creating the process map. So looking at it here, step by step of each of the processes, I say here, you see step 1 in this process, the current process. I come over here and say step 1, the process. What am I doing in step 1? I describe what is happening in step 1 of the process, and then who owns this process. This is a lane. If you're talking about swim lane, if I'm going to do swim lane, you say this is number 1 lane, customer. So that is step 1, customer inquiry. Customer contact agent via via email or phone. So that is customer. This is a swim lane. We'll talk about swim lane. That is the first lane here. Then the next is lead capture. Lead capture is number 2, and the description here is lead information is manually recorded in an Excel document. So this is the way this company capture their lead. Mind you, what we are trying to solve here is lead management problem. They are managing their lead manually before now, and they are hoping to transit from manual lead management to automated lead management through the process of, or through the help of CRM system. It's manual lead management. They are manual at the moment. So that is their situation or their problems. So number 3, manual lead assignment. Everything here is manual. Manager assign lead to agent manually. And who does that? Sales manager. And then number 4, follow up. Agent connect lead for follow up. You see now, this is now moving from sales to agent. So that is how the process can crisscross from one swim lane to another swim lane. That's how they'll be moving till it's get done. Now, number 5, update lead status. Agent update status in individual SI file. The owner is still agent. Then 6, weekly report. Manager compiles data for agent from agent spreadsheet. Who does that? Manager. So you see the process of managing lead from the lead capture till it becomes a report. Yeah, which is heavily manual. So if we want to transition to automated, that is CRM automation, which is where what we are eyeing or what we're applying to achieve here is, we call it to be. It's not yet, but that is desired state where we want to be. So the first process is inquiry. Inquiry here is customer connects with agent via email, phone, or web when integrated with CRM. The person does it, that does this is the customer. So when there is inquiry, that's how they capture lead. Then the second one is automated lead capture. Now it's no longer going to be the agent that is going to go to the Excel and record the name of this customer or somebody who is making inquiries. The customer or potential customer, we can call it lead. Lead, not customer. So this will be captured as a lead in the CRM system. Automatically, the CRM system capture it. You see, now we're beginning to remove the agent from the background. Is now what is going to take agent like 3 hours to do. The CRM system will do it in 1 minute or in a second. Then 3, automated lead assignment. Automatically, the CRM system will assign the lead. The lead are assigned based on predefined rules in CRM system. The CRM is now taking a lead. Then number 4, automated follow-up reminder. The CRM system send a reminder to the agent for follow-up. CRM system does this. You see, these are the gaps. Can you see the gaps? Here we see all this here is what the system is doing, and the system can do it better than whoever is doing it. So that is the gap in the system already we've identified. Yeah. So 5, updated lead status. Agent update lead status in real time. And then the CRM system, the CRM generates real-time dashboard for lead tracking. And you see here, these are all the things that the system will now take over and retire the human system. So 7, reporting, review, and analyze the management, review data and data trend via CRM dashboard. So this is what in this here you see, this is what the human does and the system does the rest. So looking at this, all the ones in green capture are the original processes that didn't change. But after the implementation of CRM system, all the processes in yellow are the one. These are the improvements. So you should be able to show clear improvement. This is clear improvement of the work. From this, you can see. So all these, if we are going to carry out a gap analysis, I've already captured the gap within the system. So that is it. Now, data requirements. Field for capturing lead details. Lead details, we're going to need names, contact info, inquiry type, and source. You remember data requirement. Then data import and export functionality for Excel and other formats. Then we'll need to equally describe the role-based access to ensure data security. So if we are building this system, we equally need to state the data requirement, which you've captured here as well. That's the data requirement. Then we come to number 9, risk and mitigation. We've spoke about risk and mitigation as well. We talk about the risk. What are the risks? Lack of user adoption can be a risk. So users might say, we don't need this. What are you trying to bring here, Mr. Charles? I've been in this company for 10 years and we'll be using this Excel document. Excel document is very good. This is a product of Microsoft. Are you trying to tell us that Microsoft do not know what they are doing? It's the kind of argument you'll be hearing. Some people are already kicking back on the solution you want to bring. So always expect it. Don't think that it's going to be an easy ride. When you're trying to bring a change in an organization, in a community, in your environment, people must kick back. take it as a way of, yeah, that's why you are a professional. They already train you to understand that you are a change maker and people will kick back. These are some of the risks we face every day. Some even will go to the extent of threatening you. Because when you want to bring a system like this, find out that you are blocking where people have been eating for years. Like in my former company, you know, before there is a CRM system we're using, and we discover a leakage. That leakage is costing that company a lot of money, and people never noticed it. But we, the BAs, noticed it and want to block it. And the sales team started fighting. There's nothing, these people have been making a lot of money from that leakage. What is the leakage? Okay. What the sales people does is that the sales agent, what they do is that when the sales make contact, because they call, make their own is through calling, and so after calling, they get what we call log. This call log, they get this call log from the telephony they use. So after getting the call, they go to the CRM system to manually impute the number of hours they spent. So during the time they are going to add the number of hours, so many of them increase, you know, the number of hours, multiply the number of hours. That is falsification. And the number of hours will determine the amount of bonuses, pays you are going to get, pay raise. So, and they are making money from that. So, what we decided that is going to happen is that when they finish, they are not going to go to the CRM system to upload or enter their number of hours they've spent. Some will say we just spend 5 minutes, and they say they spend 2 hours, and that's the amount of money they will get. So what we do then is we decided to integrate the telephone system with the CRM system, so that once they make a call, automatically the call will upload itself to the CRM system. No manual input, no manual data handling. Automatically, we get rid of all their fraudulent activities. And these people fought tooth and nail that. They try every means to frustrate that project. They fought and fought and fought. And what I'm telling you, that these people, some of the sales persons in that area, some of them have been in that company for 15 years. They still know this guy here. And one of my business analysts working under me then, I was assigned to do that. Very young girl, very smart young girl from India. And she's not been like up to even, she came directly from India in our company. These are from some of the project assigned. She always come back to start crying for me. Mr. Charles, I don't think I can do this. Yeah, is it because they don't like me? They don't do this. They are threatening my life. You know, always trying to calm her down. Calm down. So the point I'm making here is, it's not easy. So as a business analyst, when you want to bring change, some people might even want to, more especially if you are working in public sectors, where there's a lot of fraudulent activities going on. Public sector, that is the headquarter of fraud. Some people will even want to, threaten your life for doing your job. So, other risks are data migration errors, which here is minimum. In this process, you conduct a minimal migration, conduct a trial migration and validate data, and delay in implementation. You always have delays, which is high. Define clear timeline and milestones. So if the project manager is good enough, the project manager should always be clear about and not take delays lightly. So you must equally add success criteria in your documentation. Success criteria here is 90% of leads are captured automatically within the first months of implementation because it has been manual. So we want automatic lead capture. Then 2, lead response time is to reduce by 50% within the first quarter. And positive feedback from 80% of the agents and managers within the first 3 months. So this is a clear success factor with, metrics, smart success factor. Everything here is very smart. And equally, appendix, you attach some key document, like if it's available in your document, which it should be over time, is use case, lead assignment automation, user stories, lead capture assignment and reporting, process map, assist, and to be. So these are some of the documents you need to create, like process flows. You need to attach all of them. So this requirement document ensure a clear understanding of the objectives, processes, and expectation for the successful implementation of a CRM system for the company called PayEagle. So you see, we don't have too much grammar in this documentation. Everything is clear, bullet points and diagrams. So now, if you want to create your process flows, first, or process maps, first create the process flow line. You see the way the process flow goes. I created the process flow from lead acquisition to the last reporting. Once you create it this way, the first thing is lead acquisition. The second thing is lead qualification. Under lead acquisition, we see the marketing agent is the first person here. The marketing agent, under the marketing agent, leads are captured manually. You are now telling a story of how the process, that's what we call process flow. In as much as I'm using text to tell this story, I try as much as I can to limit it in bullet points to help me when I'm going to create the diagram. So you see, marketing agent, which is the first person under the lead acquisition. Leads are captured manually from various sources, such as walk-in events, online inquiries, email outreach, and the referrals. The second is information is stored in a spreadsheet. I'm telling stories how they capture their lead at this moment before anything, before they go even to CRM. So then, if you come to lead qualification, under lead qualification, they say the person here is the lead manager. The lead manager manually review the lead to categorize them under hot lead, which is ready to sign up, warm lead, interested but need follow up, and cold lead, not ready or not interested. Then the next is lead prioritization. Lead are prioritized based on their limited criteria. Then the third one here is lead assignment. Under lead assignment, the sales manager is the key person here. The sales manager lists are distributed to the sales manager distributed lists to the sales reps based on availability and proximity. All these things are manual. Then when leads are being assigned to sales rep, the next thing is lead follow-up. The main person here is sales rep. The sales rep follow up with lead through email, phone call. Then follow up are tracked using personal calendar or notes, leading to missed opportunities. And we have the fifth one here is lead conversion. Sales rep is the lead person under lead conversion. Successful leads are manually converted into customers. Data entered into separate system for onboarding. Then the sixth one is reporting and analysis. The main person here is the sales manager. Reports are generated manually by consolidating data from various sources. Insights are limited and often delayed. So you see, this is the process flow in a text. I need to put this in a diagram so that it will be easier to understand, you know. So, and this is where this comes in. Yeah. So you see, this is what we call process map. Yeah, process map or flow chart. So you see all this information, I decided to put it in a diagram and in a swim lane diagram. So what we call this is swim lane diagram. So you see here, the marketer here is in a swim lane of its own. Then the sales manager is on a swim lane. The sales rep is on another swim lane. You see, this is how the process moves from one swim lane to another swim lane. And looking at it like this, whoever is looking at it is very easy to understand. So the story goes here, it starts from here. You see, starts. And where here you come here, you see where it ends, the process ends. So you see here, lead. The first thing here is lead acquisition. Under lead acquisition, I itemize them. Lead capture. From lead capture to 1.2, store lead on spreadsheet. And once that, then you move to another swim lane, which is lead qualification. Under lead qualification, you have lead categorization. From lead categorization to another lane, to lead prioritization, and then to another major process, which is lead assignment. From lead assignment down to assign lead to sales rep based on availability and proximity, and then move to another swim lane, which is sales rep. Then, and under this is a lead follow-up. From lead follow-up to follow-up with lead through emails and calls. From there to track follow-up using personal calendar or notes, and then move to lead conversion, from lead conversion to successful lead converted to customer, and from there to data is entered into spreadsheet system for onboarding. And then the next thing is reporting and analysis. From there to reports are generated and consolidated. So, and this is where it ends. So you see my documentation, all this. From all this, I documented it into this. I created process flow and then created a process map with it. So this will be, from this point, I'm now ready for analysis. With this, I will come and analyze this document or this process and find out where there is gap in this process flow. So if I want to do my analysis, I can come here and say to be. Under to be here, like this is the gap analysis I have to create. Under this gap analysis, you see here all the processes that I need to be improved. All the weak processes here or inefficient processes, I will highlight it in red color. And after highlighting it in red color, you see that almost all the processes here are inefficient, they are weak, they are poor. And if the process is poor, that means that the organization is inefficient. The organization is not doing well. Their processes is not doing well. This is the reason why the organization has not been making profit. They have not been able to pay salaries. They have not been able to grow. Because look at the process here, the gaps. There is so much gap in what is going on. And that's why companies are looking for process analysts who can be able to capture all the processes within the organization and analyze it and let them see all the gaps within the processes. With all this, you can see that the company or this particular process is very, very weak and need to be rebuilt. And that is it. With this, you come up to this to be. You see, all this is now rebuilt and it becomes a new system. This to be now is a new system. So that is what we mean by gap analysis as is, to be, and gap analysis. If you want to carry out, as I'm seeing it, as I'm not even saying a word, but looking at the process map, and I'm telling you that all the processes with red color have issues. If I'm saying this within the board will now automatically see that this company is in a very big mess. I don't need to tell them. I don't need to start talking too much. The diagram is already showing the state of affairs of the organization or state of affairs of the processes they are using. This you are seeing here is a system in an organization. And I'm telling them that this system is poor. I'm not just saying it, but in a diagram, I've illustrated it that this is how weak this system is. So that's it. So I've captured so many other things here, which I've tried to show the documentation. So tomorrow, what we're going to do is to teach us how to create a process map. So we should be able to create this process you see here. We should be able to use a system called draw.io to draw this. And all of us need to create it. This is the first aspect of the technical aspect of it. So, for some of you are saying that it's not, there is a lot of technicalities. It's not as easy as you think. So, we're going to do that tomorrow using draw.io. So, tomorrow I will explain what draw.io is because we don't have time again. Yeah, so that's it, because some of us have other classes to attend. I'm just kind of looking at time. So I want everybody to progress in whatever they are doing. Yeah. So when I share this note, take your time to go through these notes. Well, this note is not just a teaching, it's a document that is better than this note you see here is better than textbook. So many textbooks you spend a lot on because it digests everything at the organizational level. If you have questions, let's be fast so that whoever has, like some of us who are in data analysis, I know data analysis is already almost starting, so they can join data analysis class. Any question? Yes.
All right, good evening, coach. I had dropped my question in the chat box.
I don't read charts. You should be able to talk about your problems.
All right, so what I was asking, I just want to know, where can I access the past lectures? Because this is my first lecture with you.
So you have to sign up.
Come back.
You have to go to the course portal and enroll. I'm sorry you started there. You just joined.
I had reached out. I sent a message that I am currently in postpartum.
So you have
all
the information is there. If you're just going, go to course portal and register in our course portal and enroll, and you have access to it. Self-enrollment. I don't enroll people. If you want me to enroll you, you just credit us with 20,000 naira, and I will quickly go and enroll you. But if you want to be, that's how I treat big men, express. But if you want to the standard way, just go there. It's very easy. Within 5 minutes, you already sign up and enroll. All you need is email and password. You create an account for yourself and enroll, and you have access to all the materials here.
All right, thank you. One last question, please. How do I get the link?
Is unif.uk. You can contact any unif.uk. If you go there, you see admins in that our platform, in our WhatsApp group. Talk to any admin outside me because I'm a teacher. I'm not the one who does the course management. Talk to any admin, the admin will assist you, or talk to any of your fellow students, they will assist you. You know, lecturers do not assist students during the enrollment. The students
go thank you very much.
Enrollment.
Thank you.
All right. Any more questions? All right. Thank you, everyone, and see you tomorrow.